Hello, everyone. Woo! And welcome to the Repeatable Chapters overview stream. I always want to say producer letter. It will never get out of my head.
We don't even have a producer here today.
I know.
We're completely unsupervised.
We discussed this ahead of the stream, and we also asked chat. They also agreed that Ben, we've left Ben's slot in the name card below so that he was still here. To be fair, Ben's probably just sitting at his desk watching it. Really, it's because we're actually going to do some gameplay today, and so having me sit here and play while trying to fit the...
He's there taking notes on our poise and diction.
That is correct. That is correct. At one point, we should take a photo of the space that we have between the desk. If you guys saw the tiny space between the desk and the green screen, the fact that 3 adult human... I guess I'm like child-sized, but... a child plus 2 normal-sized people fit back here is pretty impressive. Anyway, so for those that don't know, my name is Eric Musco. I'm the community manager.
I'm Charles Boyd. I'm the creative director.
And thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm seeing lots of hellos in chat. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
As always. Let's go over what we're going to talk about today. Because like I said, for the first time since we've been doing these streams, we're actually going to do some gameplay. Yeah. So we'll show you some of that. So what we're going to talk about today is the ability to replay chapters that we're introducing in Knights of the Eternal Throne. But let's go over the whole overview of the stream. First, community topics. Let's open with the things that you guys have been talking about on the forums, on Reddit, social media, and some of the answers to some of those questions. Promotions. We still have the subscriber promotions going on. So
still got cool stuff to get.
Always remind you of those. I was chuckling because in chat we were trying to figure out, someone was asking like, who is that guy? And we're like, wait a minute, are we live right now? And it's like, no, it's because of the holding image on our Twitch page. We figured it out. Don't worry.
No bad things happened as a result of any technical difficulties. It's all good.
Correct. Not yet. Influencer program. I'll explain what that is in a second. We'll get to that in a moment. Then, of course, the meat of the stream itself, repeatable chapters and veteran difficulty of a chapter, which is actually what we're going to show you today. We're going to play through some Knights of the Fallen Empire veteran, which we'll see how it goes. I was playing it before we got on stream, and
everyone can critique Musco yet again.
It was going well. Is the words I will use, and then of course just a reminder of the remainder of our stream and blog plan from now through the launch of Eternal Throne. So Here we go. So community topics. We announced last week and a half ago, something like that. The conversion of Warzone commendations and the PvE crystals are being removed from the game, and they're being converted into credits. So one of the topics that we've seen come up a lot is what are things going to cost now that used to cost commendations, crystals back in Fallen Empire. So, and one of the things that especially came up quite a bit was rank 5 and 6 companion gifts and the ability to purchase those. So as just kind of a general thing, the team is still really fleshing out the costs across the board of most of these things. So I don't know that there's a point that will actually give you like a rundown of the exact credit cost, but for companion gifts especially, one of the things that we wanted to give you at least some insight into is that the intention is in Eternal Throne, they won't be cheap. The reason for that is that with you getting command crates constantly at level 70, you're going to be getting a lot more companion gifts than you're used to.
They're one of the standard items that can drop in those.
Correct. So you'll be getting a lot of companion gifts. So you can still buy them for credits, but it's not meant to be cheap because you're supposed to use that as kind of a supplementary measure of, oh, I have a lot of credits, I want to get some extra companion gifts, so you can do that. But it's not intended to be an optimal way to get companion gifts because, again, you'll be getting tons of them from command crates. So that's kind of the answer to that specifically. Cool. And then the schedule change. You may notice for anyone at the end of every stream, I've told you what the stream schedule is, and here we are not talking about the thing I said we were going to talk about. So this week's original plan was to talk about combat and class changes coming in Eternal Throne. And we know that especially class changes and the overview of what's happening is something that people really look forward to hearing when you're going into an expansion.
Start your theory crafting.
100%. So we're actually not even going to do a stream on that just so we can get that information out as soon as possible since we bumped it from this week. So on hopefully Monday, but possibly the latest of Tuesday, we're going to put out forum posts that are kind of overviews of all of the stuff that's changing. It's not like super patch notes of every little detail, but it's definitely going to be an overview and some of the major changes that are coming. And as a side note to that, one of the things we heard in the past few weeks from some of our French and German players is that they felt like we weren't getting the French and German forum posts to them at the same rate we were our North American and English-speaking players. Totally fair, and I agree that we haven't been. So just wanted to point out that with those class changes, they'll be coming at the exact same time, and we'll look to make sure that we get that information out to you guys at the same time going forward. So that's kind of the deal with that.
Cool.
Charles.
Everyone's favorite dashing gentleman in front of the Rapid Recon Walker, which you will receive if you're a subscriber on November 27th, right before launch. So that's a great chance to get a really cool walker mount, nice and easy. Then, of course, early access. That's for everyone who was a subscriber on October 25th and continues to be a subscriber through November 27th. Get a few days early access, jump into the expansion early, play the chapters, know the story before everyone else, and maybe start getting some Galactic Command levels.
No, people are, who is he? Who is he? This is not as a formal name, but I call him Captain Mustachio. I'm not a writer. I'm not Charles, so I don't get to make these kinds of decisions.
It's a big twist. It's actually Kai Zykin. He got a makeover. He got some PR people who helped him kind of redo his image.
Let me tell you, my favorite is we do a bunch of playtesting internally for different things, and I was playtesting the other day, and random character generator gave me a character that looked just like this guy.
Ooh.
So I named him Captain Mustachio, but then I messed something up and I caused a bug where when I got into the game, all of my hair disappeared, and it defaulted me to ones down the line.
Ooh.
My character no longer had a mustache, so I was Captain Mustachio without his mustache.
Perhaps the worst bug in the history of our game.
The source of his power was gone. How could he possibly do it? Okay, so influencer program. What does that mean? Quite simply, we started with the producer live streams really focusing in on trying to highlight podcasts, YouTubers, streamers, bloggers.
All the player-created stuff.
Everything. All player-generated content that we could. And so one of the things that we've been working on is kind of coming up with an actual formulaic program that allows us to do really cool things with people who make content. So we can promote them on social media. We can host them on Twitch, which I'll get to more on that in a second. So if you are someone who creates content for Star Wars The Old Republic and you're not already in touch with me, please get in touch with me because we're looking for people to kind of continue to get into this program. We have like a pilot group that we've started this off with that we're working with already, and we're just going to continue to introduce more and more people to it. And as the first part of this, there's a streamer that some of you may or may not know. He streamed Star Wars The Old Republic on and off, big RPG guy. His name is Rushlock. Right when we are done with this stream, stay on and keep watching because we're actually going to host Rushlock right after this. He's over there right now playing Fallen Empire, and we're just going to host right over to him. And this is something that we're going to try to continue to do with all of our future streams. So again, streamers, get in touch with us. This is just the start.
What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Oh, that's a good question. So it's pretty easy to find me on both forums and Reddit. Look for my name. My name is Eric Musco, and you can send me messages there. Also, you can send us to the community support email address, just communitysupport@swotor.com. I think Tate can confirm that in chat. Find one of them at Twitter. Find one of a million ways to get in touch with me, and we can start that process. So,
cool.
Good deal. Someone just put in all chats, how do I contact you, Musco? Charles was ahead of the chat delay, thankfully, because I wasn't. So, we did this last time.
We did.
And Ben probably lost. I think we have to agree between us.
I don't remember who won, but it definitely wasn't Ben.
It definitely wasn't Ben. It had to be one of the two of us. So what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this without Ben worrying us
Muddying the waters
of what is the best item.
Yeah.
So, but in honor of our favorite Ben, we're going to use the keyword for our giveaway this week is Ben. So please, if you are interested in winning one of these three items, type Ben into chat. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick 5 winners. Similar to previous weeks, the important thing is make sure to get in touch with the Twitch channel if you've won, and we'll get all the information like your character, your server, where you want it, and you'll be able to pick one of these 3 items. So again, in honor of our favorite Ben, please type the word Ben into chat.
And in honor, of course, of our 5th anniversary, 5 winners.
5 winners. Yep, of course. So we'll continue moving forward. Just for the sake of time, as the Ben's. By the way,
flooded.
I really hope that Ben right now started watching chat without knowing what's going on. He's like, why is everyone saying Ben in chat? I don't understand. It'd be amazing. All right, so.
Cool. Repeatable chapters.
Charles,
challenge modes.
I hand the baton off.
Cool. Yeah, so this is really came from a lot of the player feedback, a lot from you guys and gals, as a feature that we really wanted to do this year was a chance to let players replay the chapters that before you couldn't. So all the chapters in Knights of the Fallen Empire, and of course all the chapters we're releasing in Knights of the Eternal Throne, now you'll be able to repeat them. You'll be able to replay them and see all the choices again if you want to, and experience those environments, explore a bit, maybe check them out, do some things that you hadn't done before.
Yep.
The other really cool aspect of that is that it introduces challenge modes, so you can replay the chapter on a more difficult setting, and face a tougher challenge, or even you can play your first playthrough on a harder challenge mode.
Yep. So one of the big things that we certainly saw, especially on the forums and stuff a lot throughout Fallen Empire, is, oh man, like I enjoy the story, but I just feel like these Sky Troopers just easy to kill.
Too easy.
Not a lot of challenge here.
Yeah.
If you're that person, now you can just go click veteran and launch into it, and you'll see in a moment when I play Chapter 3. Challenge is what you're going to get.
Yep. So of course, what this means is, first question that often gets asked is, what does this mean for my choices? Like, does this undo everything and reset them? Do I have to replay all the way through if I reset? What happens? No, your choices are set the first time you play through the chapters, and those choices are remembered permanently.
Yep.
That said, when you repeat a chapter, it will remember all of the choices you made before that chapter, but you can then, while you're replaying, make different choices and just see what happens if you want to check that stuff out. But those choices will not be remembered. They will not be saved, and they will not override your first playthrough.
Yep.
So it's just a chance to kind of explore, see what different things might have happened. With a what-if machine, if you will.
A great example that people may or may not know. And by the way, we're going to talk a bit about Kofi's story, Fallen Empire story specifically today. So if you haven't finished Fallen Empire, spoiler warning for some things.
Yes.
Just you may want to earmuffs because we're going to talk quite a bit throughout this stream about Fallen Empire story. But just as an example of how that works is our favorite friend Koth. There are some choices you can make throughout the story that lead up to maybe him doing something bigger down the line. If you've made those choices already, that impact is still there, but you could always go back to like Chapter 3, which is what we're going to play today, and decide not to blow up the sun generator and see, Koth actually likes me in this scenario. And granted, the impact of that still happens, but you can at least see in the short term what those choices mean. And also, as it relates to Dark vs. Light, it's worth pointing out that, for example, if you normally play light side and then you go through and you're like, well, let me check out what the dark side stuff looks like, you will gain dark side points, even if you are fighting for the light side in the Dark vs. Light battle. You will still earn conversation points normally as a part of that. Cool. And I don't know if you mentioned that story and veteran, again, just as a reminder, those difficulties are going to be coming right away, and then master will be following. Why don't we talk a little bit about veteran before I show the people myself dying? Yeah,
so like we said, it's available from your very first playthrough. So if you want to play through the story the first time with a greater challenge, really test yourself, you can do that. It's going to scale to your level. So if you're doing the Fallen Empire chapters, like it says there, if you're anywhere from levels 60 to 70, it'll scale to you. For the Knights Eternal Throne chapters, that's levels 65 to 70. So you can do it anytime. It'll level to you, level the challenge appropriately. It's balanced for what we're calling kind of the mid-tier of our in-game gear. We'll be giving more details on all the in-game gear that's in command crates later on, but this is kind of mid-tier of the in-game, so it's not the first stuff you get after you finish, but a little ways in. So it's not a jump right into it thing. Unless you're pretty tough. And also it is going to be assuming that you have an influence level 20 companion.
And one of the things that's important to that, I don't know if you just mentioned the roll, how we balance based on roll. So this was cool. So actually to get this information, I know one of the things that we get asked a lot is like what is your balance goals and like what is really the way it should feel as I'm playing it. So we balance this around the assumption that most players play as a DPS player with a healing companion. And so keep that in mind when you're playing. So if you're someone who's playing as, my companion tanks and I heal, maybe more difficult, maybe easier, you have to find out.
And of course, achievements that you'll earn for playing on the higher difficulties. There will be better rewards for playing on tougher difficulties as well. You can scale the difficulty down at any time. So if you started on veteran, you're like, hey, I really just wanted to check out the story. Let's rein it in a little bit, guys. You can do that, bounce it back down to story mode. But you cannot scale up in difficulty when you're in the middle of a chapter because you could abuse that.
The very obvious reason we do that is because things like killing the boss at the end of a chapter or during a chapter will earn you command XP because it's killing a boss. And so we don't want you to be able to just keep it on story to laugh your way through the trash to then get to the boss just to turn it up to get higher command experience points or something. So if you're going the higher difficulty, you got to commit. You got to commit to the higher difficulty and go for it. So that's just kind of how that works. But again, you can scale it down at any time. So if you're in there and you're getting your face kicked in, which was my experience when I first played the veteran chapter, I was like, oh God, this is harder than I thought. You can turn it down. So
cool.
All right. So what I'm going to do, because now that's it. We've basically given you the basic description of repeatable chapters and their challenge modes, is that I'm going to darken the back of the screen for a minute so I can kind of set up some stuff and get in game. While that's going on, if you guys have any questions about repeatable chapters, how challenge modes work, any of that stuff, feel free to put them in chat, and Charles will be able to work on grabbing some of those questions out.
Let's see. I saw one in there. Do you have to complete the chapters in order when you're replaying them? You do not. You can jump into any chapter that you have completed and repeat it at any time. And you can do that with different difficulty modes as well. So if you have not done Chapter 3 in Veteran mode, you can still do Chapter 4 in Veteran mode if you want to.
There you go. Also, I do want to announce the winners. 'Cause, by the way, I enjoyed watching because Tate apparently walked away from his desk right as we did the raffle. The best possible time to walk away from your desk, for sure. So he walked away from his desk right when we did the raffle. So he originally only picked 3 winners, which I was going to make fun of him for.
Oh, Tate.
But chat had my back and immediately told him and started yelling at him that he needed 2 more winners. So do you want to announce who the 5 winners are?
All right, let's do it. We've got Liquid Vamp 85, Gamer Jedi 3. I thought it might be Gamer Jed, somewhere in the middle of the country. Light Rose Destorier. Tate insists he spelled it right.
It could be Storier. That could be a thing.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I actually like that name.
Let's go with that. And then Phantom Zwei, presumably from Germany. And then Forgot My Password Sad Face, which I hope is in fact someone's username and not Tate's password. In which case we're going to be in trouble.
I like the idea that someone had a Twitch account and then they forgot their password, and so they made a new account, which is Forgot My Password Sad Face, and now they have to get a new one. Anyway,
I saw another very conveniently timed question, perhaps an audience plant. How do you get to these chapters, Eric?
Oh, perfect. All right, so let me give you the rundown of... So first off, what you're seeing, this is the first time that you guys will have seen anything inside of Eternal Throne since we've been doing the stream. So one of the things you may notice is this user interface is condensed up top, as we have kind of a little bit more of a collapsible menu so you can get to things a little bit easier. I'm going to cheat so I can open up the new chapters menu, which you can see right here. So this is how you can access chapters. So as you can see, I've only played up to chapter 4. I do have to make a note, just in case something breaks. I was cheating and using dev commands to set up my character. My character was in a hilariously bad state from cheating. This is why we don't allow cheating, and so I broke my character. So just don't be surprised if something doesn't work properly. That's my fault. So anyway, you can pick the chapter, and then there's this drop down right here where you can pick which difficulty you want to play on. Once you've selected your difficulty, it's just as simple as hitting launch. Yep. And also as a note, if you have the play button for your chapter that you're actively on, you can hit play, and it will also bring up that same interface. So you access it the same way. Additionally, you can also see that when you have a chapter selected, you can also see the difficulty modes in the bottom here. So if you want to toggle them at any time, you can do it from there as well.
Yeah.
So multiple places to access the chapters.
I saw another good question. Can you group with friends and play together on these? You can. In fact, I think you always could. But they are still designed to be solo challenges, so it's going to get a lot easier if you bring a friend, but I won't tell anyone if you don't.
That is correct. I'll give you, once we get past, we're going to get into a little bit of story. I'm actually going to let the story play just in case someone hasn't seen Chapter 3, and Chapter 3 is amazing because it just kind of is really, even though it's not Chapter 1, Chapter 3 is a really good intro into the craziness that jumps out in Fallen Empire. And then I'm going to actually show you and talk a little bit about both my gear that I have currently on my character, my companion influence, just so you guys can see what my relative gear, what my relative power is to what's about to happen to me when I get shot by things. So, but we'll let some story go through. And Charles, if you want to add some any insights into what's going on in Chapter 3, by all means.
Yeah, Chapter 3 was a fun one for us because, it's so rarely that the player is the one being rescued rather than the one doing the rescue. So, one of the key questions we had was who should be the one doing the rescuing, right? And the dramatic irony of having a Sith Lord, Lana, come and rescue you from Carbonite rather than being the one freezing you in Carbonite seemed like a fun choice. So that was, we pretty much jumped straight to that. It was very much a what's the most unexpected way we could go with this. Good old Lana, so reliable, even in her slightly evil ways.
Yep.
Let's see. I saw another good question.
Which, by the way, if the sound compared to our voices is too high or low, let me know. This is actually the first time we've shown gameplay in a while, so I just want to make sure that the audio balance is good.
You made it. Sorry, I had not seen Musco's character before now.
Oh, I forgot to mention this. Let me back that up. By the way, this is my life. I did not make this character. My boss did. So Keith, I'm sure, is probably in chat laughing his face off right now. Keith made this character. I had the same reaction when I saw it without the helmet as well. That would be Keith. So thank you, Keith, for that. One of the questions I did see earlier, I've seen a couple different questions about the influencer program. Quite literally, if you make anything related to the Old Republic, just get in touch with me. There's a bunch of rules around the program, like you can't have had terms of service violations, and you can't be very vulgar, and like things that should be fairly obvious, but beyond that, just get in touch with me and we can go into the details. If you do stuff for Star Wars, just get in touch with me, and we can go from there.
Lana, am I glad to see you? Not sure there's so many of you, but...
Let's table any thank yous until I've got you fully recovered.
It looks just like me. I think Keith spent a fair bit of time making this guy. Like when I saw that he had even changed the complexion to have like 5 o'clock shadow, like I think Keith put a little bit
made
more
it, like, up to date to the day.
Yeah, Keith
Yeah.
spent some time on this.
He's agreed to help.
Keith spent some time on this character.
Yes, well, it's the best
Different
I
stream,
can
but
do.
is it possible to open a command crate and receive 0 pieces of gear? No, that is not possible. There is always a piece of gear in your command crate. It may not be an upgrade. It may be that there is some randomness there, but there is always a piece of gear in your command crates.
Yep. Can you bring any companion you want into veteran mode? No.
Yeah.
It is still tied into the companion that is a part of the story itself. All right.
All right, show us what you got.
Okay, so first off, as a note, right now I'm sitting in item rating 224 gear, which may, if you don't know what that means, basically that is the equivalent of the highest item rating available in Knights of the Fallen Empire. So it's not quite best in slot because I don't have augments in all my pieces and that type of stuff, but I am very well geared for a level 66.
Yeah.
Far better than the majority of people would be going into what I'm about to play. And for reference, my Lana is influence rank 20. We had mentioned that it's balanced kind of around a DPS with the healing companion at rank 20, which is the exact scenario that I'm in, and I'm in very good gear. So just be prepared for what you see. So I'll start off by kind of what you're used to doing when you play a chapter is typically you'll just go, well, I'm a merc, I'm just going to do some sweeping blasters on these guys. As you can see, their health bar is moving down, which is good, but then as soon as I start getting hit, like, my health is chunking pretty hard. I'm gonna do something before I die. But as you guys can see, the damage is no joke in this. And these are just regular guys. Like, this isn't even a boss or anything yet. This is just a regular encounter. So, if you're looking for a challenge, this is definitely a good place to be. I'm gonna pay a little bit of attention, Charles. So I don't.
go
so
ahead. I'm gonna watch chat.
I attempt to not die.
Do you have crystals in your weapons?
That's a great
Seems like you
question. I do. I also have. I have two. Mine is weapon tunings as well. So once let's see here, you can see. So I have the. Oh my God, what is it called? The Gemini and the overtuned weapon tunings. I built those. So this is a little elite, and let's see how poorly this goes for me. I'm actually gonna use my shield because, and that is not where I wanted to aim that at all.
We're off to a great start here today.
Yep. Yes, I am.
Should we like lay out odds?
That I'm gonna die.
So in chat, if you think Musco will die before he gets 3 conversations in, let's vote now.
That's
So we'll count this as the first conversation. So will he make it 2 more conversations alive?
I'll tell you what. I'll make this deal. For every time I die from now till... By the way, we're only going to play about 10, 20 minutes into the chapter to the first boss. But for every time I die... Chad is not confident in my abilities. For every time I die, we will give away a random... one pike to a random... One Senya's pike to a random winner.
I love it.
And tell you what, we'll spruce it up a little bit. Every time Lana dies, we'll also give away an additional one. So we'll do a drawing at the end of the stream for X amount of additional Senya's lightsabers based on how many times Lana or I die.
Ooh, that's a pretty helpful tip there. Type /stuck in combat for damage buff. There you go. That sounds like a great move.
I'm on to you, chat. I'm on to you.
I guess I could go ahead and start talking a little about Fallen Empire story, just in general.
Oh, yeah. So, one of the things, like I said, we really wanted to kind of use this stream as a recap of the Fallen Empire story as a whole. So this is kind of really the jumping off point of, why don't you explain a little bit about how I got into this situation and what this is starting, and then kind of the rest of the boulder down the hill.
Because we're going to be doing that stream a little later on, where we'll be talking especially about the storyline in Knights of the Eternal Throne. So this is a great chance to kind of go over what happened in Fallen Empire, kind of catch folks up, remind you if it's been a while. Spoilers, obviously, if you have not played through Fallen Empire all the way to Chapter 16, because we're going to go all the way. So, Musco here, frozen in carbonite, just now escaping with the help of Lana, his Sith buddy. This all happened because the player went out to Zakul in the Outer Rim, in the Unknown Regions, and in Wild Space specifically, in pursuit of the Emperor, the Sith Emperor, Vitiate. They were hoping to track him down. Instead, they found this massive empire that just totally wailed on him. The player was being helped by Darth Mar. They were both captured, taken prisoner by Arkan, who we all know and love with his half a face. Clearly based on my compatriot here, who has a full face. We should
I do have a full face. That is correct. Thank you for. I appreciate
Clarifying that.
I appreciate the nod, Charles.
So, of course, they're brought before the Emperor, who turns out to be Vitiate under a new form, Valkorion. Things go south quickly, depending on the player's choices. Either Arkan murders his father and blames you for it, or you take your opportunity, kill Valkorion, take a chance to strike down this Emperor you've been after for so long, and things go poorly in that case as well. You're frozen in carbonite. Valkorion enters your mind, invades your sort of headspace. He's kind of latched on, following along, giving you questionable advice. You'd think he might know some useful stuff since this is his empire. He seems to not have much, if any, love for his children. But at the same time, can you really trust this guy? He's the Sith Emperor. He's been messing with you for a long time, so it's tough. So we're moving into here, Chapter 3, making our escape from the Zakul penthouses with the help of Lana Beniko and her new ally, Koth Mortena. He's actually an ex-soldier from Zakul, someone who kind of had a crisis of conscience, decided to switch sides and help Lana out, ultimately help you out and escape and take down Arkan, the new Emperor. Really bring justice back to Zakul, bring Zakul back to what he always thought it was growing up. After this, we make our escape, make it into the swamps, where we, fortunately, maybe it's just chance, maybe it's certain someone guiding things, discover the gravestone. This is an incredibly powerful warship from the ancient past. Coincidentally, the only warship that can fight the Eternal Throne that Arkan commands. Coincidence or not, what say you, Vasco?
That elite, I was flipped. That elite just hit me for 44% of my hit points in one hit. So I was flinching. So two of the questions that I saw that I thought were really good were when you were repeating a chapter, how does that impact romance? Their specific question is, do I get a chance with Lana again? Which I appreciate. I appreciated the wording in that question.
I'm afraid not. No. Like we said, repeating a chapter does not change any of the variables, any of the settings choices that you made on your first playthrough. So this is not your second chance. Sorry, Lana remembers.
I suppose if you were already romancing Lana though, and if you got a little smooch action,
yeah,
you could replay smooch action.
You could indeed.
And the question also about replaying a chapter and earning companion influence. So if during a chapter the decisions that you make would earn influence with the companion, will you continue to earn that influence by making choices in that chapter?
But yes, I believe it does. I can double check that to confirm, but to my knowledge, just like light side and dark side points, those points would continue to accrue.
Right.
Yeah.
I just started watching. Can you start from the beginning?
All right, reset.
All right, guys.
Sorry, guys. All right.
So we decided to leave Ben's nameplate.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, yeah, it is possible that someone may be noticing things about my class. Like, again, this isn't the class change stream, but someone pointed out that I didn't have my cylinder turned on as a merc. It's because it's automatic now. It's passive based on your discipline. That's one of the changes that we're making with with Eternal Throne. I have my class buff on, by the way, guys. So you should be very proud of me. I did that for you. One for you and two so I wouldn't. By the way, Lana casting her whirlwind on that guy over there is immensely helpful. When I did this the first time, Lana actually died on this fight specifically, and I got out with about 10% health because she didn't CC it. I was splitting damage, like I was not doing intelligent things.
Look at you! You handled those guys just fine.
Yeah, it's pretty. Maybe I should have done this as the first time I played it, so I didn't know where all the danger was going to be. I'll tell you though, I don't think it's going to go so well on the boss, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
So anyways, the story goes on. You've got the gravestone now. You've got new allies. You're going to be picking up new friends, new allies as we move on through the Fallen Empire story. Perhaps the most important next allies that you got, Senya. Mysterious. She's a knight of Zakul. You don't really know her backstory at first until it's revealed. She's in fact the mother of Arkan and Valen and Thexan, the former consort of Valkorion. Of course, now we know all about her. We've seen her in that Betrayed cinematic this year. Got a little more of her backstory. And then another ally, or potential ally, Scorpio, the droid, who does not like to be called a droid. She's someone you're never sure if you can trust, someone who's always seems to have a little plan on the side, but she has just as much animosity towards the Eternal Empire as you do, so for the time being, she's a helpful ally. As you build up these allies, as you build up friends and gain strength, kind of manage to, you fight Arkan here and there, you fight the Eternal Empire, make some escapes, you find a good place to hide on Odessen. This is a sort of remote planet that's balanced in the Force. It's very hard to find, and that's really where you build up your secret base and start to really build up your alliance against the Eternal Empire and become kind of the commander of this force dedicated to taking down the Eternal Throne.
So 2 of the questions that we've seen from chat. By the way, I stopped for a minute because when I go in this room, I'm about to get dead. So I figured I'd hold up for a moment. Can I replay Chapter 9, even though there isn't a tremendous amount of combat?
Yeah. So yes, you can replay that chapter, but you will not get. You can't. There's no difficulty modes to it, so that there's no rewards for doing so. If you want to see that story again, if you wanted to check some stuff out, we decided it was better to let you do it and just not have the rewards. So you can replay that one. There's just no difficulty adjustments to it.
Right. All right. I'm gonna proceed forward and attempt to not die. That's what I'm going for. We'll see how this goes for me.
You can do it. I believe in you. We can't hand out too many Senya sabers. You gotta.
We can hand them all out.
This is for the safety of our,
Don't even.
our financial future.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage that just happened right there. Look at this. Just look at how much. Jesus, this is so much damage. Nope. I think I got hit by that. I'm fairly confident that I did not dodge that.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, Lana's almost dead. Lana died.
Uh-oh.
There's one. Can I make it out without dying is the real question.
All right. So who's our lucky winner?
All right. So Tate, I think you will have to do another drawing, and I'll tell you what. I don't really like odd numbers, so I think that it
Much
may.
like Valen. Oh no!
I think that's probably happened. So.
Oh no!
So since 2 people died, I think that we have to give away 2 Senya's pikes. So I see people saying pikes. So why don't we just have pikes be the word?
All right. I like
so
it.
Let's do another drawing for another 2 people. The keyword is pike. Pikes.
Let's do pike.
Pike. P-I-K-E.
I've already seen a lot of it. Let's
Pike.
go with that.
So go with pike. Please type pike into chat.
People are already typing Ben again.
Please type pike into chat, and Tate will draw 2 winners. As I managed to, only Lana died. Anyway, so now that you guys have kind of seen it, this is as far as we're going to play, just to kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what veteran difficulty is like. But hopefully you guys like what you see, because, like I said, I'm in 224 gear. Rank 20 companion. I actually know what I'm doing on this class, sort of, for the most part. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. I mean, I had to use my energy shield. I had to make sure that I had cult overload up, otherwise I would have died. Like, you have to really use your cooldowns. You have to crowd control things. You're playing by yourself, but and this is just veteran, by the way. This isn't even master difficulty.
Yeah.
So
Master's going to be really,
yeah. So
really rough.
Yeah, keep that in mind when you're looking at the difficulty, because it's going to be tricky. Anyway, nice, thanks, Tate. Just so you guys know, Tate and Keith are back at their desks. They're working for you guys. They were inside of our internal dev tools trying to figure out how to kill me while I was playing. They didn't figure it out, but don't worry. I just threw myself off the ledge to make that happen for you. Anyway, so that's all the gameplay we're going to show just for this. Actually, we're going to leave you with a gameplay video too. But
that's right.
We'll get to that in a second. But this is all that we're going to show you for chapters. So let me black this stuff out while I work on getting all this stuff set back up.
Cool.
Again, if you guys have any questions about chapters, about the difficulties or anything, let us know. But that's kind of just a snapshot of what that looks like.
Looks like a lot of folks are still asking. Just to reiterate, replaying the chapter does not reset your choices. So if you're usually dark side and you want to see what the light side choice would do, if you're usually you hate Koth and maybe this time you want to be nice to him,
which is the wrong choice. Everyone hate Koth. That's just my personal thoughts, though. I mean, you guys can.
You can do all of that with no repercussions. Again, only your first playthrough is saved.
You guys can do it. Don't listen to me. You guys can do whatever you want. Anyone that watched my marathon stream knows that the theme of that stream turned into, let's just be mean to Koth. I find it entertaining. Okay, so I mean, we're getting pretty close to the end. We've talked about what being able to replay chapters as a part of repeatable chapters, what that looks like. We've shown you veteran difficulty, so you can see that. And again, that scales. So I was playing it at level 66, I think. But I mean, that will go all the way up to level 70, and I was in a Kotfi chapter.
Yeah.
So the same thing with Kotfi and Kotet chapters. I swear, the little bit that I've played of the difficulties, they're hard. Like, they're no joke. You really got to be on your toes to make sure that you're getting that. So, Musco, why has your hair turned gray? 'Cause I'm old is the answer to that question. Also, I've been going gray since I was like 20, and I'm 32, so I got years of gray building, years of them building. Charles, you want to run through kind of a recap of everything?
Yeah, so like
everything coming.
Like you mentioned, it's all the chapters are repeatable. All the chapters can have selectable difficulty. So that's all 25 chapters from both Fallen Empire and Eternal Throne added all together. You can replay all of them, retry them on the harder difficulties. We've got veteran mode coming at launch of Eternal Throne and story mode. Master mode is going to be following not too long afterward.
Yep. A great question about that on the line of because someone asked if you're playing the chapters, let's say for the first time,
right?
Can I be playing like chapter 1, 2, 3, play them on story, and then be like, you know what, I think I'm ready for a challenge, and then switch to veteran for 4, for example?
You can. You'll just have to reset any progress you've made on the chapter you're on currently. You can't be like halfway through a chapter and then bump it up to veteran. You would have to restart.
Correct, but you can be playing on veteran and then halfway through the chapter decide,
ease it up.
Let's go back down.
Do that.
Yep.
The choices from your first playthrough are the ones that carry forward. Those are the ones that are remembered. But when you repeat, you're free to try out other ones. Like we said, available from your first playthrough. Veteran is going to scale to your level all the way up to max level, so it will remain equally challenging no matter what level you do it at. And it's balanced for the mid-tier end-game gear. That's veteran mode is balanced for the mid-game mid-tier end-game gear.
There it is.
There we go. Say that 3 times fast.
Nailed it.
And an Influence 20 companion.
So one of the questions I've seen come up a whole bunch is, what about the HK chapter?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. So you will be able to repeat the HK chapter, but only on story mode.
Yep.
Since that's kind of a special case, it's a totally different set of abilities. It's all locked down. Then it's that set companion area.
Yep.
So that one you can only repeat on story mode. But let us know if you're interested. If you would really like to see that and other difficulties, let us know. We'd like to hear about it.
Yep, and you can go through having fun with Zoom anytime you want. Zoom, is that how we say?
You can say Zoom. You can say Zio.
Zio.
I think she usually goes by Zio.
I like that. I like that. All right. So last but certainly not. Actually, we got like.
Yeah, we got two or three more things.
But first, the stream and blog plan, just as a reminder. So again, we kind of moved out the combat one from this week, sort of, because what we were talking about this week was going to be class changes and a few other things. And the repeatable chapters and difficulty modes was a part of that. Mm-hmm. So we've talked about repeatable chapters and challenge mode this week. We were trying to set up something with some special guests this week as part of the influencer program, which was going to be how we were going to announce it, but didn't come to pass. But we think it's going to happen next week.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, and so there'll be some special guests. You'll get to see some more of Eternal Throne, live gameplay happening. We'll tell you what that is next week once we know for sure that it's definitely going to happen. And then the week after that, it's a story time with Charles. I can't think of it. It's all I want to want to call it.
And we'll also use that opportunity to talk about some of the new planets you're going to see in Knights of Eternal Throne.
Yep, we'll talk about the new planets. We'll talk about Eternal Throne story because that's one of the things we've been kind of shying away from. We don't want to spoil too much leading in, but
little tease here and there.
Give you a little bit, get a little action in there. Yeah. And then last but not least, and by the way, give myself props. I remember to change the date this time. So we are not streaming on Thanksgiving. We'll be streaming on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And the intent really for that is by that point, all of the overview of information is all out there. Like everything you guys will know, not literally everything, but a very large portion of the main things coming with the expansion. And so it'll be the three of us. We're just going to kind of sit down, recap everything if you've missed any of it, and then just answer any questions that are still pending when we get to that point. So
yeah.
There's
the winners.
2 more winners. Yeah. Do you want to read off the winners?
Games Mike, and Spidey Wolf.
You are the winners of the Death Senya Pikes. Tate wanted me to remind you guys to please check your Twitch inboxes and make sure to get Tate the necessary information to give you your prize as soon as possible, so you get some sweet Death Pike action in your hand. Any blogs coming up? So that's a good question. The repeatable chapters, we actually weren't going to do a blog just because we figured that was a better thing to show than to talk about, so you can kind of experience and see what the difficulty looks like. So no blog for that today. Instead of doing the class changes as blogs like we've done in the past, we're just going to put them in the forums. This way we can kind of put them out there and have more of a discussion with you guys about what's changing and kind of talk through some of that stuff. And then the week after that, there'll definitely be some blogs related to story stuff. We'll see what that is when we get closer. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I think that's it for us. We have 2 other things, but I think that's it for us on the repeatable chapter thing, right?
Yeah, let's close it out.
Oh, one of the questions. What will the rewards be like for veteran chapters? So that's a good question. The best way that I can give you, keep in mind that the rewards for, besides achievements, the rewards for everything at Endgame is now command experience points. And so the way that to look at veteran chapters especially is that group content is intended to be the best source of command XP
Overall.
overall.
So, and the harder the difficulty of that group content, the better the rewards.
Yep. So relative to that, veteran story will be one of the best sources of playing solo and gaining command XP. It may not be the best, it's close, but it's definitely one of the better sources. Like, it'll be better than doing heroics, for example.
Yeah.
But,
and certainly better than doing it in story.
in story mode, exactly. So since it is difficult, it will be one of the better sources for playing by yourself. So,
Yep.
All right. Do you want to introduce?
Yes.
Why don't we do it in reverse order?
All right.
I've already announced my part of it, so keep in mind that after Charles announces his thing and we show it, please stick around because again, we're going to be hosting one of our first influencers, Rushlock. He's streaming over right now on his channel. I think he's streaming Fallen Empire, so we're going to host him right after that. So if you're watching, please stay on and support one of our streamers. And then if you're interested in joining the influencer program, find one of 1,000 different ways to get in touch with me, and we'll see about getting you in the program.
Yeah. In the meantime, we've got one little last clip to show you. Just a little tease of some story from Knights of the Eternal Throne. A little tough talk from Valkorion.
Yep.
Everyone's favorite. Going to give you some words about the expansion.
Do you want to let them know when this happens in the story?
So, vaguely. It's near the beginning. So, we're not jumping too far ahead or spoiling anything too deep. But it is, of course, from the expansion. So I have to say very, very mild spoiler warnings.
Yep. The clip's about a minute, I think. So if you want to see nothing of Eternal Throne, now would be the time for you to turn off the stream and then come back for Rushlock in a few minutes. But if you don't want to see anything, but it'll be about a minute, and again, you'll be seeing a little bit of clip of Eternal Throne.
Little tease.
So I'm going to hide our faces so we're not blocking any of the beautiful footage, and then I'm going to hit play. I'm also playing it outside of the PowerPoint this time, so hopefully there shouldn't be the weird frame rate issues that happened when I was trying to showcase Tate's death.
Yes.
For some reason, PowerPoint just didn't want to show you Tate's death. So hopefully that should avoid that problem. But again, thank you guys.
Thanks so much.
We'll see you next week for some special guests, and we'll see you in the forums and stuff as always.
Awesome.
So thank
Take
you guys.
care, y'all.
Enjoy the Death Pikes.
You think you are unassailable, but consider the cost of your victory. Thousands killed. A planet devastated. There is only one way to end this chaos and bring order to the galaxy. You must seize the Eternal Throne.
Even the most noble leader risks corruption on the seat of your twisted throne.
You are no ordinary leader. You fell before my influence, but it couldn't contain you. You hunted me countless times, and always you survived. You were the Alliance commander, champion of fear, and conqueror of my every challenge. No one is more worthy of taking the throne. Not even my children.
Do you count yourself among that number?
My time has passed. Only you. You think you are unassailable, but consider the cost of your victory. Thousands killed. A planet devastated. There is only one way to end this chaos and bring order to the galaxy. You must seize the Eternal Throne.
Even the most noble leader risks corruption on the seat of your twisted throne.
You are no ordinary leader. You fell before my influence, but it couldn't contain you. You hunted me countless times, and always you survived. You were the Alliance commander, champion of fear, and conqueror of my every challenge. No one is more worthy of taking the throne. Not even my children.
Do you count yourself among that number?
My time has passed. Only you can take the Eternal Throne. It is your destiny.